Tesla shares are moving higher after hours. Losses in the last quarter were wider than the market had led to expect. However, the company is upbeat about car production and profits. It's planning to turn out 6,000 Model 3s each week by the end of this month. Elon Musk's behaviour has taken its toll on the share price. The stock dipped briefly after the last earnings call, when he dismissed questions as boring, and when he called one of the rescue divers in Thailand an extremely offensive term. Scott Galloway is done with Elon Musk's antics. Well, he says he is. He says he's putting his Tesla up for sale, a 2018 Model X SUV. You really selling it?
Yeah, well, I'm committed now, especially when CNN put your tweet. They've kind of called my bluff, and I was on another network yesterday, and they showed the same tweet. So, yeah, I'm putting my electric-powered midlife crisis where my mouth is. I'm sick of complaining, and when a CEO says something like this, there's enough options in the marketplace where I've decided I'm gonna buy another.
What's wrong with it?
What's wrong with the?
I mean, are you selling because of the car or because of the boss?
I just don't need to endorse the actions of a CEO who slanders someone who I think is trying to help other people. I thought it was a ridiculous statement. I think CEOs have to be held accountable. I think, unfortunately, in the U.S., we no longer worship at the altar of kindness and character. We worship at the altar of tech billionaires, and I think this guy should be held to the same standards as any other CEO.
But he's a visionary. You'd agree he's a visionary. He's created an extraordinary product and let's take the SpaceX thing, again, an amazing product, an amazing achievement.
So is the question, is he the Thomas Edison of our generation who's going to change the world, or should he be held accountable for slanderous comments? I think the answer is yes. I agree with you. I think he's going to change the world. I think we're better off for having him. But at the same time, I don't think that means we shouldn't hold him to task and force him to act like a CEO. Look, Richard, it sucks to be a grown-up. When you're a CEO, you don't go on Twitter and you don't start slandering other people. And there's enough cars out there where if someone is upset about it, as I was, like I said...
Right, but you're looking for the Renaissance man, aren't you? You're looking for the Benjamin Franklin. You're looking for the man who'll invent something by tea time and have done poetry and philosophy by dinner.
We're not talking about poetry. We're talking about not accusing someone of being something pretty terrible. This cave diver's Wikipedia page for the rest of his life is going to have that slander on it. This is the kind of insult that no matter how ridiculous it is, a little of it sticks because it is such an ugly slander.
In terms of Apple, I need to talk Apple.
Yeah.
And the results. I mean, they blew it out of the park. They're making more money from selling the same amount of phones and services as through the roof.
Yeah, most of the tech earnings have been a beat on the top line, a miss on the bottom line, a beat on the bottom line, a miss on the top line. Apple beat on the top and the bottom line. We were talking during the break. I think this is more an indicator of just how well the top 1% is doing globally. Apple is not a tech company. It's a luxury brand. And it's great to have the best luxury brand in the world. How do you signal your worth, your potential worth as a mate? The iOS, $270 to produce, $630, I think, average price. This is the highest margin product.
$724, I think, was the average.
$724?
$724 was the average on this last quarter. Or apparently, I seem to remember.
Think about those margins. I was on the board of Gateway Computer. We used to operate on 6% operating margins. This company has pulled off the impossible in the history of business. It has the margins of a Ferrari with the production volumes of a Toyota, which results in profits this quarter that are double the profits, double the amount that Amazon has registered in its entire history as a company in one quarter.
All right. That said, but it has done so at the same time as losing its position as the second large volume phone maker to Huawei, which, of course, is not available necessarily as in any great numbers in the US, but huge in the rest of the world, which is now number 2 behind Samsung. I'm guessing you would tell me that Apple doesn't care.
Yeah, and Gap probably sells more handbags than Louis Vuitton. You'd rather be Vuitton. I mean, Apple has always gotten grief for not going after a mass strategy, but the market is bifurcated into two things. The mass strategy, where you can get a phone for free from Android, where they basically turn you into the product and take the data and feed it into a supernova business model of advertising, or a luxury phone that communicates you are part of the innovation class, you live in a city, and that you can afford to be have the best phone. You're a storyteller, you're Richard Quest, and you will pay a ridiculous amount of margin for that. And by the way, they've never pursued market share. They've just pursued profits. And you know what? It's working.
Are you guilty of the same thing?
Oh, are you kidding?
You've got...
Come on.
You're worse, because you've got that and a Tesla.
I'm in the midst of my third midlife crisis. But you know what? I hate my life less and less every day, Richard.
Because of the phone.
Because of the phone. Good to see you.
Good to see you as always. When we